And welcome to That Girl Speaks. Today is, oh my goodness, I don't even know. It's Monday. It's the 29th of August. And this is That Girl Speaks. I'm Amy Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and the Fat SQRRL on Instagram. Welcome. Oh my gosh, how do I not know how to do this already? We're like on 322 or something. Okay, there's too many things going on, y'all. I apologize. The brain, I tried to center and like get together right before we talked, and then like 14 things happened. So, thanks for coming over. You can take home some dahlias, but you have to go cut them because it's too hot for me out there. Okay. This episode will contain embroidery, some sewing, some knitting, definitely not spinning. No shameless self-promotion. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's just start, y'all. Let's do it. Were there shenanigans? I don't think so. I've been really busy at the sewing machine. I have had a lot of mental shenanigans. Like, I have been definitely not researching hiking the West Highland Way. I've definitely not been doing that. Definitely not been getting way too interested in single player journaling RPGs. That, y'all, it is a thing. Okay, let me just tell you briefly. There's this one. And okay, so what it is, it's like a tabletop role-playing game, but you're solo. Not all of them are like that, obviously. But I'm sorry, I left my sewing machine light on, and I think that's what's causing this. Okay, I'll just take it off. So it's a solo game, and this one that I'm looking at, that I definitely didn't already buy, but of course I did, is called Apothecaria with a P-A-W. And you roleplay as a woodland creature who like has to learn how to make different potions to help your fellow woodland creatures. And like this, it's basically like sort of like guided creative journaling more than I would think of a role-playing game itself, but like I'm very intrigued by it, and I have zero time to be doing this nonsense right now. Like, I have negative time, so of course I'm very interested in it. But the illustrations are all amazingly cute, and I feel like the investment was pretty minimal. I feel like it was like $15-ish. I'm pretty sure, please nobody like call me out if it was actually $1,500 and I just accidentally bought it anyway. It wasn't. Jeez. Okay, but the illustrations are so cute. I'm gonna have to print it because I don't think I can actually do it from a device because I'm analog all the way. But like, this is the actual like title page. Are you kidding me? I'm being very vulnerable and letting you know that I'm secretly a completely unemotive human, but I do have deep emotions for anthropomorphic creatures. Sorry, humans, my life. Okay, but there's this one, then there's this other one that I just read about, okay, that I definitely also didn't just buy. Shut up. This one I don't think is a journaling one. I think it's like a legit tabletop role-playing game, but it's called Wise Woman, a game by Alexandra Brockman. I'm sure. I think she is in fact Scottish. And also this other one, there's totally Highland stuff. I don't know, that was just a coincidence. But you're like role-playing as these witches, and like you're trying to help people, but also the villagers are also like highly suspect of you. I'm saying it flippantly. It's actually more of a serious more grounded. Because I'm coming off the anthropomorphic animals. I'm sorry. It's actually serious and like has actual serious problems that you're dealing with. And it's set in like the Eastern European folklore tradition, which I know very little about, which is also intriguing. But so definitely I didn't buy that when I should have been working. No, I shouldn't have been working. What else was I going to do? I was going to support an awesome artist who's creating crazy cool stuff, or I was going to watch something dumb on Netflix. I mean, I'm a patron of the arts, y'all. Patron of the arts. Are you a patron of the arts? If you are, find more information about supporting the podcast and fueling my ridiculousness at the links below. Sorry. I just couldn't help but plug. It was so fluid. But yeah, what the heck, y'all? I mean, it's only in times of like complete overwhelm and stress, right? Well, not only because I'm like this all the time. But it's definitely the time to like delve into a thing that you know nothing about, like tabletop RPGs that actually make you kind of uncomfortable. Like I tried to watch some people playing, I don't have it here. Wander Home, which is a tabletop RPG that I backed a while ago because it was also about woodland creatures. And it was not about like there were no swords. I'm not really into swords. I mean, I'm pro you if you're into swords. That I'm not trying to be like multi-level thought processy. Like I'm not, that's not a euphemism. Like I'm just like not into swords. But so like that doesn't appeal to me, but you know, basically if I can just inhabit the world of David the Gnome, I'm going to embroider all my tops and tuck them into my skirts. And I'm going to start wearing a felt hat, y'all, like any second. Just gonna go full. Like people are going to think I'm live action role playing, but I'm really just I'm method acting my life. Escapism! Oh, but anyway, they're so cool. The images are so lovely. And I'm just like, but so I was going to say, I actually can't even I don't even know why I think I can. Okay, for one thing, the solo thing works. Like the journaling solo thing, that works in my head as an RPG. Basically, it's kind of like choose your own adventure journaling, sort of ish. Like structured other world journaling. I mean, it definitely is. And also there's this whole thing called zine RPGs, which are just like little independent press people making up role-playing games, like tabletop versions. And I also just want to learn more about it because I really want to write a rad fat one because I just think it could be amazing. Because I definitely can't learn to draw a comic, so I cannot make a graphic novel, but maybe I could. Yeah, I'm just saying, if you want to collaborate, just let me know. But so, the journaling one, I think that's definitely going to work out for me. And I'm hoping that's going to be like my October, escapism. Oh my gosh, if you're on the Discord group and you want to play silly October journaling RPGs, we can totally compare notes. Or I think this Apothecaria one may even support doing these things separately together. Whatever, we could just review and talk about our silly woodland creatures. But anyway, I tried to watch people playing RPGs, and I have this thing there's a thing about myself that I hate. Okay, I really have never talked to a therapist about, but I should probably look this up and figure out how to deal with it because it's something about myself that I really don't like, and that is we've talked about before, I am made extremely uncomfortable by historical reenactors or highly dramatic productions. I'm embarrassed to admit this to you because it does make me feel like a bad person, but I'm just going to admit who I am. I'm imperfect. I am so embarrassed for that person that I have a physical reaction, and like there's a singularity that evolves somewhere in my body, that then my entire body collapses in around, and I become a black hole of just like total compressed anxiety. And I hate that about myself, because I am so happy that those people are doing something that they really enjoy and that they're having fun. And like, I do this for a living. I am like goofy for a living, or at least for part of a living. So like, why is that? I feel like it is something, I feel like it is like my high school self that just still hasn't evolved in there somewhere. And like, I really need to work on her. And maybe I just need to just like exposure therapy myself to everybody playing tabletop RPGs and just like watch them do their crazy voices. And because I am just like genuinely happy that they're enjoying themselves, I am literally looking into how to do these experiences myself, and yet I have trouble watching them. Do they make like an edible for that? That would be a lot easier than trying to figure out that through therapy. Can I just take a pill for this thing about myself I don't like? So weird. But it's so charming. Not the thing about myself, the people that are doing these things. Maybe it is exposure therapy. That's maybe I really need to go. But I am smitten, Apothecaria. It actually, originally there was one, I don't know if I can't tell if it's by the same author, because like it's not on the same page where I bought Apothecaria. By the way, there are definitely expansions. There are many, many expansions. And yet these things are all very affordable and dangerous because they're just PDFs. Some of them are bound and you can purchase them in bound books, but like a lot of them are available on PDFs. And so you're just like, $12. That's like, I'll just eat a bean burrito instead of like fancy food. Like that's even exchange dollars wise. Like, and also better for the environment. I'll just eat my bean burrito and be a patron of the arts. I mean, come on, I'm doing things right here. Definitely don't have problems. But anyways, it's very dangerous to just be like, well, I mean, this is very cute. But anyway, so it started with this other one, which I think was called Apothecaria, but like apothecary, the correct way you spell it, in which you do role play as a little witch person. I don't know if it's cutesy or not. I just heard about it. I didn't actually see it. You role play as a witch person, and you're doing this. I think you're creating potions and you're gathering your herbs to help people. No post-apocalyptic zombie fighting RPGs. No thank you. I want only cute things. Oh my goodness. So there's also one called Tea Time Adventures, where you also play cute woodland animals, but this one is a group one. But anyway, they're all just so cute. And so if you're interested in those things and you didn't know they existed because you're me, I don't even know how I fell down on this one. I do know. I was looking at my Wander Home book. I like was putting things away and organizing or something, and I was like, oh, let's look at that. And then I opened it up and I was like, actually, I don't understand how you would even begin to do this. Because it's supposed to be like a GM-less system, but like also I just started looking at it and I was like, this feels like there's no, like it's like all framework but no pathway through it. So I was just like, I don't even understand how this exists. So then I was or like how you would begin to do this. So I started looking through other things and that's how I fell down. But definitely September is going to be art every day. I'm a little scared because my schedule is dumb right now, but I am trying to still get you 30 to, I don't know even how many days are in September, y'all. Trying to get you that many days worth of which will only be a suggestion, not a requirement. We're doing it on Discord if you're a patron of the group. And then maybe October will be like Apothecaria month. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. If not, maybe it'll be Arctober. I don't know. Maybe it'll be both. I mean, because clearly. So let's maybe talk about some stuff that's in front of me that we should be talking about. Okay, so first off, I'm wearing something, and I will put in here me and my body in it. That's what's gonna happen right here. So here's my very not finished Muna and Broad Belmore in my very not finished house. By not finished, I just mean not finished cleaning, but never started, but also always permanently crazy. I literally can't move this table out of the way for the shot because there is so much Halloween fabric on it that it might give me like a worsening hernia. But anyway, so here's my Belmore, which I actually started like last year. And for some, well, I know the reason. I got in my own head too much. Hello, welcome to my life. And this is this design is either lined or done with Hong Kong binding. And I have not had a lot of experience working with gauzes. This is, I think, a triple gauze. I could be wrong about that. But I got really in my head about like the crinkliness of the gauze versus the binding and how that might be weird. Like, sort of like when you're putting a zipper in a piece of knitwear and you have to be really careful about how those competing elasticities work together. In my head, it was just like a huge barrier that I could not get past the thought of, but only after I actually cut out the jacket. So I went back and forth and back and forth. And yes, clearly what I probably should have done is just used a small sample and bound it and just... Hong Kong binding is kind of like a bias binding, but like slicker. It has a really professional look, a very nicely tailored look. But it involves encasing like your raw seam edges. And so again, like my fear was that it would just be weird with like... I couldn't self do the binding because gauze is just notoriously like frayy and open weave, and I knew that my talents were not enough to do the binding in this fabric, and so I would need to use a different fabric. And I just kind of, again, I just got like way too in my brain about how that wasn't going to work or how that was going to work. And then like to line, I was like, oh, but that's like a whole different, like, what, again, I was thinking that there were going to be issues with the whatever. Sometimes you just get way too much in your head about crafting things. So ultimately what I've done is A, not finish, but B, I've just used the serger to finish my seams like the hobo I am. I'm totally fine with it actually. But I do still need to hem the jacket and the sleeves because I just, again, I kind of had that pause of like, I just don't even know what I've done. Like, should I even go forward? Is this now the like most fanciest set of washcloths ever? I don't know. So I think though, if I put it in the timeout for like a whole season, I think I am again okay with it. Again, nothing to do with the pattern. As always, Muna and Broad patterns are wonderfully drafted, wonderfully considered, thoughtfully written in directions. It's just me. But so yeah. I think I like it again. I don't exactly, even though I think now that I'm out of my head about it, like I've given it up, like it was just going to just go ahead and be cut apart for dish rags or whatever. I think now I can appreciate it for being like not the thing that I originally thought it would be. Doesn't that happen all the time? But I said that actually does mean I need to finish it. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. And also, I mean, I feel like it's styled beautifully with my, you know, camo joggers and crop top. I think that's really the look that everybody was going for this season. Okay. But basically, I just needed to put something on my body that had a sleeve, but wasn't so hot, because I just needed to be sleeve season. I will even like back up on hoodie season. Just give me a sleeve season. I mean, it's not like, it doesn't have anything to do with being like naked. It's just like the like sensory comfort of having things like clothing touch all of your skin is what I need right now. All right. Oh, sorry, I totally left the radio on. Anyway, so I'm about to start this podcast. Okay. So yeah, I'll try to give you better information. Maybe I was like, I'm not even pretending I'm going to give you better information later. I just need to hem it, so that's all that needs to happen. Yeah, this is the Belmore jacket by Moona and Broad. They are lovely. I would tell you what the pattern is drafted up to, but they will actually draft it up to your size if you do not fit within their current pattern range, because they're amazing. Oh my gosh! And did you see that she's now working for RISD? I'm so excited for her. It's so fun. But anyway, sorry, right? Digress. And again, I think I'm almost positive this is a Birch Organics gauze. And I think it's a triple gauze, but I mean, I don't know. But I think it's out of production. Okay. And then, let me show you though this fabric that I don't know what to do. I mean, I do know what to do, but I don't know if I can do it. Okay, Gus loves fabric. Okay, so Mill Direct Yardage, or just Mill Direct, is a Polar technical fabrics distributor in the United States. Discovery Fabrics is in Canada, and they don't have the same things. They definitely have different things. Discovery Fabrics has a wider range of things, and they have great information on their Facebook page. They're a great company. But I found this fabric that's Polar Tech Air, and okay, A, the color's perfect. And B, I think I need pants out of it. Okay, it's like, it's stretchy. I was not expecting it to be stretchy. And technically you're supposed to wear it. This is like the correct outside. This is the correct right side. That would also just be called the right side. Luckily two positives still make a positive. So like this, but it's a little bit, I wouldn't say shiny, but it has a little sheen to it. And so I'm not sure. And the reason this would be the outside, for one thing, is A, I think it is more abrasion resistant. This is a special fabric that's supposed to cut down by like 5-fold, or maybe just 5 times, now I can't remember, on the amount of microplastics that are released during washing of fleeces. But I also just really love this groovy texture. So like it's going to be most insulative if these little pockety dudes are on the inside. And again, this side is supposed to be more abrasion resistant, which would why you would have it on the outside. But also I just really love this texture. Do I need pants? Don't tell me I don't, because I do. I think I need like straight, like wide leg, but like for me that's straight leg because I am wide. Like straight down. I think I just need like some straight leg pants out of it. I think it needs to happen. And then I definitely have enough to also make a hoodie. And then I could just be the most tracksuiting Nana ever. The teen and I saw some little grandparenty people walking a dog this morning on the way to school. And I had this like moment of intense joy where I was like, oh my gosh, they're definitely walking their grand dog. I don't know why I thought it was their grand, but in my head it was their grand. I was like, oh, I'm going to get to walk my grand dog one day. I was so excited. I can definitely wear this tracksuit while I'm doing it. Maybe I need some lame shoes. But I don't know, I love it, and this color is so good. It would also make an amazing hoodie dress. Oh, that would also be really cute. Anyway, and it's also very affordable fabric. It's like $10 a yard, and it's like 64 inches wide. I don't know, y'all. I think I got to make pants out of it. I'm so obsessed. Oh, that's right, because I'm me. Bing. So that's gonna be happening, hopefully soon. And then in stitching, I finished, I don't know if you recall, but a while back I showed you this kit that I purchased at the French Seam here in Indianapolis, and I finished it. Isn't it like super, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so I really like literally can't tell what's focusing or not, but isn't it super precious? It was very enjoyable to work too. Like sometimes I don't like to do like stamped or pre-printed embroideries because it feels like the lines always want to show through, especially when there's a lot of satin stitching, which there is on this one. But I think because of the color of the background, it helped like to make those lines much less visible in the finished project. And like, I am not a perfect stitcher by any stretch of the imagination, but I found it to be very enjoyable. And also, like, look how clever this frame is. Like, why don't we do this in America? If you want, like, you could, obviously you could have it to be like a hangy frame, but like they just include this little stick. And at first I was like, what is this? Why is there a stick? You just put it in here and then it becomes a stand. Instead of like the dumb paper cardboard thing hanging off the back, which then makes it impossible to actually hang on the walls. You have to rip that thing off and then you've got like shardy metal happening. Instead, they just give you this little tiny stick. Bam. Or you can hang it on the wall. That's so much more clever. And again, like, seems like it would be so much cheaper to produce. And it's got a hole here, so if you wanted to make it this way, you could. So clever. But anyway, so I very much enjoyed it so much that I then had to buy another one. So there are actually 4 of these, and they are designed by Alice Maccabi. And so I had to buy this one as well. They're seasonal, so I think this one is supposed to be spring. I can't remember, but this one is definitely fall. Look at how pretty. I'm so excited about it. And I might have accidentally bought a bunch more embroidery books. I mean, it was coming from Japan. You had to make the shipping worth it. So I think maybe this next week we'll do like a flip through of a book on Patreon. I don't know if you're interested. But, and also this kit is so nice. Oh, now see, this one is not like that. They kind of tricked me. On the one, oh no, I bet it is, because that's right, I remember now. Okay, so also this kit is so lovely in that, A, you get the frame, which never happens. Like, how nice is that? The cool frame I talked about. It gives you like a beautiful linen that's stamped. I am not sponsored by this embroidery company. It gives you this beautiful linen and a fusible interfacing that you use to just give it a little bit more body. And then, yes, it is like that. The colors are already separated out for you correctly. Sorry, there was a delivery. So I know it's not like a big deal to have to separate your colors. There's not that many, 2, 4, 6, 7. And then they give you the ones you need more of. They give them to you. Hank. I know it's not like a big deal to separate the colors out, but it is really nice when it's just already done. Yeah, it's very convenient. And they give you plenty of floss, like way extra. So anyway. Ooh, poopers. Oopsie. So yeah, I am excited about that. Yay! Oh, and if you're concerned, the instruction book I originally, like the one I purchased from the French Seam, did include English directions. This one is written in Japanese, so you would have to try to like, it's easier for me to figure out like what these things mean because I did the other one. So like just be aware that that would be, like it tells you the color number, which that one is written in Arabic characters, but it would not tell you like this, the name of the stitch would be written in Japanese. So you might not know, although I guess maybe you could like kind of match it up. Oh, you could match it up because the names of the stitches are on here. So maybe you can see that would be satin. So yes, you can match it up. The only thing you would not know is how many, oh, and it does, it tells you what how many strands to have. So you can totally do this, just a little problem solving. So yeah, and that's like how you put the interfacing on. So anyway, so yeah, I'm excited about that. I don't know why, but I like the stitchery in the fall. enjoyable. Very enjoyable. Okay. Oops, I almost forgot to put the fabric back in there. I'm the worst. So the only thing it doesn't have that you would need are scissors and your embroidery hoop for actually like working the stitches. And you don't have to use an embroidery hoop. It's pretty small, but I do like an embroidery hoop for, I don't use them for like a cross stitching thing, but for this, I definitely did use an embroidery hoop. Okay. So let's then talk about knitting. Okay, so I have one finished object. I finished my frog. So frog with an exclamation point is a pattern by Claire Garland, who is Dot Pebbles. And it's a very affordable pattern. I did not do the greatest. It is a frog that involves stitching. He is worked, he's pieced. He's to sew him together. However, I kind of like how he turned out in his wonkiness. Okay. Do you see how his little face is crooked, but like in a very charming way? Like he is suspicious of you. He's like, what are you guys up to? Actually, he's suspicious of me and all of my RPG books. He is highly suspect. But like, he's so cute. So there's different, you can sew his little legs, like if you want him to be in a sitting position, she gives you directions for like sewing his little legs up. But he didn't look relaxed enough really to be in that position to me. He needed a more human position to really like channel his anxiety. You can also use like a bread tie or something to put in his little limbs. She talks about how to do that, I think in the video, because I did not see that until I looked. There is like a how-to video link here, which I just did not even notice until I was being like, how do I sew his legs like that? Because I kind of did it weird originally. Like I think I sewed them up too high like this. It's kind of strange. But anyway, so his wonkiness is because I am not great at seaming, and like also seaming is hard if you don't do a lot of it. But also because I kind of like, once his face was wonky, I just like exaggerated a little bit as I was blocking him because hello, he's unsure about you. See, side-eye frog. Suspicious. Sorry if this is not in focus again. I don't have my glasses. I can't tell. I think that's when it just moved. So I do want to make another one. Or another 12. I'm not sure yet. And do better job of sewing his belly on. Because that's really where I went awry. Was when I sewed his belly on. It was kind of crooked. Because it's like not a one-to-one matchup. So I think the next time I make him, I will probably use more markers to like mark the outside stitches. So that I can do a better, like the row stitches. Like on the outside, so I can kind of, again, for my inept seaming stuff, that I can more easily tell like how it should match up. He's very cute though. So there's that. And then what else? I just have like, oh, and he's just like a strand of hand spun held together with a skein of Webb's Southampton mohair silk. Oh gosh, are my bookshelves super crooked? No, I mean it would be the camera. Sorry if that's wonky, y'all. So I also started, I don't know if you recall me telling you I was having a serious stranded colorwork itch. I started the Hesty hat, Hesti, which is by Ella Gordon Designs. And so here is a picture of it. And I am literally copying it. Like there are 2 colorways given, and I just exactly copied it. I bought the yarn just for this hat, even though I definitely should have just pieced it together from stash. Whatever. I bought it from the Woolly Thistle because I'm a patron of the arts. Isn't it pretty though? So you got a little bit of, what's that called? You know what I am talking about. The ribbing with the colors. I can't remember what it's called all of a sudden. And you got some stranded color work. And I am going to make mine a little bit deeper because I like a slouchier hat. And there should be plenty of yarn to do that. Oh my gosh, all hat season. Just going to be eating apples. Corrugated. It's called corrugated ribbing. Just going to be eating apples and wearing hats. I mean, right. But anyway, so I'm very excited about it. I actually had to stop myself from just like speeding through it. I was like, no, savor. Savor. So again, that's the Hesty, H-E-S-T-I hat. I am knitting it on US 1.5, but if you're new to the podcast, I knit Crazy Loose. I don't know what I think it's written for 3s or something. This, you didn't see that, but here's a thing you've seen before. I am knitting this kind of like large rectangle. Sometimes we call that a stole, but I don't know why that seems like the wrong word now that I've said it out loud. And it's based on the Brain Freeze pattern, which now I suddenly can't remember. It's F-R-I-E-Z-E. And that pattern is by somebody very clever who is in this somewhere. There it is. Oh, ah! Why can't I? Is it Ashcroft? Is it Ashcroft? Stitch Nerd. Sorry. By Stitch Nerd. Is her human name on here anywhere? It might be, but I can't see it. And then that pattern is written in the round for a cowl. So if you have trouble, this is knit flat. It's not. So if you have trouble translating between flat and round directions, there is a pattern called the Freeze Shawl, F-R-I-E-Z-E, by Lisa Haynes, H-A-N-N-E-S. And it is actually for this same slip stitch pattern, but on a triangular shawl, which also means that the grid, the pattern, the visual representation of the stitches, the chart, that's what it's called, that the chart is written flat. And I know you're going to be like, you can always translate. Yes, because usually there is like a key that tells you to do something on the right side and something on the wrong side. But again, if you're in the round, you're always on the right side. And so it might be a little confusing because there's lots of slip stitches and stuff. So if you're not comfortable with that or you're not used to it, there you go. So this is, what is this yarn? This is like a color changing blown yarn. Gus has a tendency to like to hide things in my knitting bags. Sometimes they're food. This is yarn that I got from my LYS, Mass Ave Knits. This is Lang Cloud. It is a 90% merino, 10% nylon. And again, it's one of those, like, the tube is like a net and then the fibers are blown into it. And it's 260 meters for 100 grams. And then this was something from Wabash Woolen Works, which was an alpaca wool and a similar weight. So yeah, here it is so far. You alternate like between the two colors. So one color is not always the foreground. One color is not always the background. It alternates every other one. So it just gives you this like really nice, delightful, long color. I loved this wool, this yarn, and the texture of it, but it was a lot by itself, just again, for me. And it might not have been a lot in this colorway. The colorway that I saw knit up had a lot of like reds and pinks in it. But I was afraid it would still be too much. So I wanted to work it with a solid, a neutral, just to kind of help make it a little bit less And so here it is so far. It's really slow knitting for me because there are so many slip stitches, and it's not a super long wide row, wide row. So I have a tendency to want to stop more often than I should, but it is really, I mean, it's just lovely. Like, let me give you a closer up of the texture. It's really quite gorgeous. And so I started on it a few days ago, and this is my marker, Woolen Forest. She's the dreamiest. So I'm trying to put markers on it to help myself realize, like, oh, okay, you are going forward, which is one of the hard things also about knitting a big rectangle. It's just like not feeling like you're making any progress because you're just like, it's still a big rectangle. Oh, yep, still a big rectangle. Looks like the same rectangle it looked like 200 grams of yarn ago, but I guess it's bigger. So that's one of the reasons. And it is actually getting longer, so it needs to get longer so that I don't run out of yarn. Because I mean, I can buy more of the length, but I don't think I can buy more of the other. So it definitely needs to be the correct length before I run out of yarn. And I think what I might do originally, I was thinking I was gonna like put a pocket on the inside for her hands, but it seems like I've made this quite wide. I'm not sure why I thought it needed to be this wide. But I think actually what might work is to just give it a little seam here and kind of like make that the pocket. And so that might help it to kind of wrap around the shoulders more. I don't know, I can't decide. We'll see. So there is that giant woolly thing. And again, I'm not specifically using a pattern. I am just using the stitch pattern from that Brain Freeze cowl. And then the last thing I have to show you is actually crochet. I should have mentioned that in the show notes, but oh well, that's okay. I purchased, well actually I traded for, but I would have purchased it anyway, at SSK, the beautiful and super talented and rad and just all around good human Sarah of Another Crafty Girl is doing Emmett Otter colorways. She had them at SSK. I think there were like 6-ish of them. They were all very charming. This one is her All My Friends colorway, and this is her Strong Sport, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 3-ply. Like, just look at that. And so Sarah's yarns are always just such a joy to knit. You want to like look at every single stitch for the color. And so I thought I would try this hybrid crochet. So this is what would have formerly been known as Tunisian crochet. And like if you're Googling, that's probably what you'll have the most luck finding. But there's a move to call it hybrid crochet because it is sort of like somewhere between crochet and knitting. And it has nothing to do with Tunisia, like, so hybrid crochet technique, and this is a smocked stitch. I will do my best to remember to put in the show notes the YouTube directional video of how to do this stitch because the woman who does the tutorial is the best. She is like a gajillion YouTube crochet videos, and they're all wonderfully produced. And so I was gonna make a cowl, like sort of a double-y one, like a double looper. So I decided to make it like from like the long side up, and then put a coordinating colorway, like a color block, in like to make it long enough. No, maybe I was just gonna do one loop. Okay, so I was just gonna do the single loop. As soon as I said it, I was like, that doesn't seem like I would have enough yarn to do 2 loops. Okay, so I thought maybe I would do like a stripe of like a third. So 2/3 this, and then a third stripe where I would just have like a semi-solid that was coordinating with this as the foreground. And then I kind of paused because I was just, again, reveling in the delicious colorwayness of it. And so then I thought, wait, maybe I actually just want to do the whole background with a semi-solid and only put this multi-variegated in the foreground so that it would show even, or I can't decide. So I did kind of put this on pause, but this is very enjoyable to work. If I'm not a huge, I've done some crochet, mostly like granny stripey things, because I'm not great at like where to put my hook and like the ending of rows and stuff. So the tutorial that I'll put the link into, she's very clean, explicit directions on that stuff. And it's easier for me to keep track of because you have these loopy things that you're working on and you can always count them because they're on your crochet hook. You don't have to have one of these like long crochet hooks or like a jump crochet hook, but it does make things easier. There's this fun technique where actually you do it in the ground and like they kind of just like chase each other. Like they actually make a double-ended crochet hook. This is like a regular crochet hook, but it's got 2 ends. And like you kind of like do this like, you're kind of like chasing the 2 rows around each other. It's very trippy and I think it'd be fun to do. But for this specifically, you don't need that. But if I try to make all the foreground one color and all the background one color, I would probably have to do that weird trippy thing. Actually, no, if I did it in the round, I wouldn't have to because like that would, oh, no wait, if I do it in the round, I have to do the chasey thing because like that's how you don't have a seam. Crochet is different, y'all. It's like kind of brain melty. So if you do it in the round, you kind of have to chase it like a spiral essentially. But if I did it flat, I think I could do it with the 2 colors, but then, I mean, I would still just seam it. I don't know, we'll see. But it's fun is what I'm saying. Okay, I think that's enough. If nothing else, because I'm getting very warm, I accidentally put this fabric on my lap and it's very insulative. Okay. I think that's all for this time. I tried to be grounded at the beginning and then again. So I'll be grounded at the end for y'all. That's what I'll do. Thanks for coming to visit. It's awesome to have you over. I did put out a backpacking gear video last week, so that's up there on the internets. I don't think there's anything immediately coming up. Yeah, I don't. Okay, grounded is just not who I am. So. That's all. Take some dahlias, take some zinnias. Now I don't even know how vowels work. You know, just load up on your way out. It's almost time to switch the door wreath. Next time you come over, I'll have the fall wreath up, which I'm really excited about. They just added Cortland's to their list of apples that are available at Anderson Orchard, which is my favorite orchard in the area. But I'm going to wait a few weeks because A, I cannot, and B, those are the applesauce apples that I like the most, and they do make better applesauce if they're not like brand new ready to pick. They do work better if they sit a little while. But I think that's all. Needs to be fall, y'all. I don't get a decorative gourd up in here. I hope you have a good day, morning, evening. If you're not having one, I hope that changes soon. And I will talk to you next time.